What's up, YouTube? This is Pastor Bob. So, my Maryanne's dad, John Gazik, passed away a couple months ago. And she didn't get a case for her dad. So, or a flag. And her brother was in the military, so he's getting the cheap one that actually costs a lot of money from the funeral home. And I just couldn't see that happening, right? So, not for Maryanne. So, I built this case. This is 600-year-old uh, wood. And I don't know if you guys could guess what it is. I'll give you a hint. It's one of the tallest growing trees in the world, mostly found in California. Did you guess it? That's right, redwood. 600 years old. It's very hard to get redwood. It's very expensive to get redwood. But I have a box of it and a couple other pieces. But I only thought that it was right to build it out of that. Of course, she had her pick of every kind of wood that I have, and I have probably about, I don't know, 25 different species of wood in here. I mean, I got all kinds of wood. Wood down here. You can see there's wood down there. And then back here there's wood. I know I've been telling you guys and I never showed you, but back here. Oh, if I can get this open or not. But back in there, there's flame maple back there and all kinds. That there is, I don't know how old that is. Probably 1,000 years old. That is koa, cut from a stump that was out there for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, I guess. So I've had that for a long time. God only knows what I'll ever do with it. Probably use it for an inlay, mostly. And then over in them cabinets, I got more. So I got quite a bit. So anyway, I made this. I figured I'd show you guys. This display case has a lock on each side. And then on the bottom it has two hinges. And then these are made out of ebony. And the pine that's in the back came from my property. And the reason why I picked this is if you look at it, there's two crosses in it. And that's the only reason I put it there. Not that it's a special wood. I just seen the two crosses there, and I seen a couple of animals down here, and I was like, that's the piece I'm going to use. And it could, you got to imagine how big that piece was to cut that piece, because it's a triangle, right? It takes a really big piece of wood to cut that one small piece, believe it or not. So it weighs quite the hunk of wood. But you know what? It came out pretty nice, I think. Yeah. Because he deserved something higher class, I thought. And I did it in a rustic look. I didn't make it overly fancy. It's all hand rubbed. There's 8 coats of hand rubbed tung oil, pure tung oil that I used to do it. So, yeah, came out pretty good. I wanted to get it so that the stars lined up, but it's tight in there. It's tight. I had to use one of my clamps to shut it. That's how tight it is in that box. It's tight. But I think it came out pretty nice. When you're doing angles, and especially a triangle, it's a pain, man, to get things exactly right. And then I had this all perfectly cut, this gold piece, right? I'll show it to you. And I went to flip it around. And when I did, the emblem wasn't fully glued yet. And it ran. And it took the gold right off of it when I wiped it. So that pissed me off. I was a little upset about that. But I cut another piece and put it in there. It's really nice. I like it. This is what she wanted. She picked it out. It's beautiful. And how I did it, I did a transition point. So this is actually half pine and half redwood. But I thought it transitioned better by doing it that way. So that's why I did it that way. But yeah. I thought I'd show you guys. I didn't know if you would be impressed or not. It's just, I did it mostly because, I knew that she would appreciate it. And, it was only right for a combat veteran like myself to build the box for another veteran, especially a family member. So that's it. Yeah, he was in the United States Air Force, so. Anyways, just a little short videos. I just thought I'd bring it to you and show you. I do all kinds of things. Sometimes the most unexpected things. Oh yeah, I did clean my shop up a little bit. Reorganize it because I'm putting a door there. So I did reorganize it. And yes, I'll be doing a video on that. I bought that Craftsman. Not because I don't own Craftsman, because this is a vintage 1950s Craftsman. Right? Right down there. Back in those days, this was the Holy Grail, right? I mean, that's a solid that's a solid steel top on that. And then I got a monster down in there. That thing is heavy as hell. It's really accurate. It cuts really well, but for the size of my shop, I didn't think it was necessary. Well, this runs off of a belt system. If you look back there, right? So, it's good for some things, and it's only a 7.5 inch, right? It's good for some things, small things. And I have my chop saw, and I have a rigid back there. But I wanted another smaller one, and I'm not going to use the legs, that I could fit on my Works Pegasus bench, right? So I could just put it up on there, do what I needed to do, hook up my hose or whatever for air filtration. And then when I'm done with it, I can just lean it up against the wall or lean it up back here or something like that and not worry about it. And so I just thought before prices went up, I'd figure out what was the best one for me for my shop, right? There are some things that I reviewed on it that are, probably not professional level, right? But then again, I can also modify that and do some upgrades for it that will give me more precise cuts if I need them. So, for people who have skills that know how to modify equipment, it's one thing to buy, an inexpensive saw for your shop. Now, if I was going out on a job site somewhere or something, that's a whole different story, I'd probably go ahead and buy a DeWalt, because I love DeWalt. I always have. They make great stuff and they make junk, And as you can see, I have this. All my DeWalt is in here, right? So I have extra backup DeWalt stuff too. I have bandsaws over there, and I have, extra sanders and chainsaws and all kinds of stuff, right? Because I like DeWalt. Some people might not, and that's fine, but I do. Why? Because I've never had any issues with it, right? I like Makita. And I also like Ryobi, believe it or not. All my tools out in my regular garage, from my shop out there, all that stuff is Ryobi, which I only have one bitch. And that is their Sawzalls. They suck. I broke 2 in the last year, so. But they're cheap enough, and, it is what it is, but that's why I always have an extra one. If you look up up here on the shelf, there's another one, right? So, when there's a buy or a sale or something, I stock up because you never know what the world's going to do, right? But I also like Makita, right? I like Makita. I got a lot of Makita up there from when I used to build houses and other Ryobi stuff. So yeah, I've been, and like I said, I like Ryobi. I'm really not, believe it or not. Now, don't get pissed off at me. But me, myself, I'm really not a fan of Milwaukee. I just never have been. Some people may like them, I'm not saying that they don't make some good tools because I've used a few of them that are really good. But apples to apples and oranges to oranges and price reflection, I don't know. For what I do, when I go to a next level, I've always liked the DeWalt stuff. And once again, the only problem I've ever had with DeWalt is the Sawzall. I've already broken one of them. That's the new one. So, there's certain tools that, I don't care for. As far as a saw is concerned, I use a DeWalt. My DeWalt stuff's out there. I was using it today. But, yeah, my DeWalt stuff is great stuff. I always recommend it. Is it all great? No. But I would have to say 75 to 80% of their product is really good. I never have any issues with it. So, that's just for me personally. I like the handheld routers. They're really good. I mean, I have that one and another brand new one in a box because I like using them. They're really good, As far as a skill saw is concerned, probably the best skill saw that I think, one of the best that was ever made, was that worm drive Makita that's in that box up there. I really like that. I've dropped that from 5 stories and didn't even break it. So, I mean, I don't know how many times I've dropped it, Their Sawzall's great, Their router's great. Jigsaw's great. They make great stuff. Well, back then they did. I don't know today because I do own some stuff that is Makita, but most of the stuff that I buy now is mostly DeWalt. And that's just a personal preference. And I would tell you to find what works best for you. I got a lot of Ryobi stuff. Only because it's always worked good for me. I got these Harbor Freighters. This one here is a Ryobi. I've had that for many years. I got an old Craftsman over there in the corner too. And this one here is one from Harbor Freight, and I have another new one from Harbor Freight that I got on sale. So I like them, It's great. Planers, I have a Ryobi planer, and I have a Vevor planer, which is a really good planer, the Vevor. So if you're looking for an inexpensive planer, Vevor does make a really good one. And then I have some ancient and vintage stuff. So, I mean, I have a lot of stuff. This is just part of it, but this is what I use, And for me, if I'm going to plane, that's why the plane is out at the end. And I go up, we'll planer out, do my planing for the day, put my stuff back in. It's much easier for me because I have a small space. But I have a space for everything that I generally use in my little shop. And that's what's important, You got to set your shop up for you. what works best for you. That's really important. And I also have some Ryobi stuff over there, you know, Ryobi battery operated planer and jigsaw. I do much like the DeWalt jigsaw better, but you know, of course, that's almost $300 for that bad boy, but it's worth it. It's a great jigsaw. I have a regular jigsaw too by DeWalt. So when I'm in here, if it's a quick job and I don't need to use it a whole lot, that's why I have the cordless stuff. So I don't have to pull out the cord. Now, if it's a lot of stuff that I was going to do, you know, then I would plug it in. I use a plug-in one. And that's why I have both. So if you wondered, that's exactly why. So anyway, getting back to the display case, I just wanted to show you guys how it came out. See if you liked it. And if you'd leave a like, share, and subscribe for me, I'd appreciate that. I appreciate all the new subscribers, as I always do. And I'll see you guys in the next video. This is Pastor Bob, and I'm out of here. See ya.